Over the course of several parliaments, we have evolved and adopted and discussed a global ethic which guides and shapes the commitments of the Parliament and perhaps guides others beyond the Parliament as well. But we came to the realization that it was perhaps incomplete, and that a fifth directive to the global ethic needed to address our relationship to our home, to our earth, and to each other. And to introduce that, Rabbi David Rosen, and then we will read the text. So, Rabbi Rosen.
Thank you, David. He introduced my predecessors coming from the Holy City. Allow me some one-upmanship. I come from the holier city. From the city of Jerusalem, that is holy to Jews, Christians, Muslims, and so many more in the world. And I bring you the blessings of Jerusalem. It is, as you heard, my honor here simply to introduce the why and what we are addressing to the world from this particular gathering as the fifth directive of the global ethic. And you will be happy to know that that means that I'm the last speaker. While reference to environmental responsibility was contained within the global ethic that was issued in the centenary celebration of the Parliament of the World Religions, we recognize today that there is a need for a separate commitment to a culture of sustainability and care for the environment. Our knowledge of the threat posed by climate change and by the degradation of the ecosystem means that to a large degree, all the wonderful things that we're trying to do in the world on so many other issues are like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic as we head for that massive iceberg. We can improve the quality of the lives of people on the Titanic, yes, and there are plenty of things that we should care about for everybody, but we are in the face of a catastrophe, and that requires action like no other. As we have heard today, our behavior in the world, and especially in the developed world, is reckless, and that recklessness will boomerang. We have heard of the terrible poverty in the world, and yet there is enough food in the world to feed the world. But the world is not being fed. And therefore we are here to say, literally, in every sense of the phrase, enough is enough. We have to strive for a responsible lifestyle. Last night I was talking about theological humility from this stage. Now we need to speak of the humility of lifestyle, modesty of lifestyle and of conduct. That is a demonstration of our responsibility and of our connectedness to not all of humanity, but as has been said, to the whole of the cosmos. Let me, before I introduce those who are going to present this fifth directive, let me refer to an ancient Jewish midrash homily of 2,000 years ago that talks of people in a boat. And the people are in a boat on the waters, and a man starts drilling a hole underneath his seat, and the others say, "What are you doing?" He says, "None of your business. This is my seat. I'm drilling under my seat." They say, "But you drill under your seat. We will all drown." There is total interdependentness in our world, and the actions of one reverberate upon the other, for worse and for better. Finally, let me also conclude with another midrash, well known to many here, that when God created the world, he took the first human being around for a guided tour of the Garden of Eden and said, "Look at all these wonderful things that have been created for your pleasure and joy. Take heed that you do not destroy them, for if you do, there is no one left to repair." That is our challenge. May we be worthy of it. May this declaration, this directive that you are about to hear, go out to the world so that we may save our planet, save our ship, save our home. Thank you.
Please welcome Safit Chatovich, Miriam Renault, Gopal Patel, Diane Dillon Ridgely, Andras Corbin Arthen, and please consider the Fifth Directive.
Dear sisters and brothers, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom alaikum, Shanti, greetings of peace. Part 1. Numberless men and women of all regions and religions strive to lead lives in a spirit of mutual harmony, interdependence, and respect for the earth, its living beings, and ecosystems. Nevertheless, in most parts of the world, pollution contaminates the soil, air, and water. Deforestation and over-reliance on fossil fuels contribute to climate change. Habitats are destroyed, and species are fished and hunted to extinction. Overexploitation and unjust use of natural resources increases conflict and poverty among people and harms other forms of life. Too often, the poorest populations, though they have the smallest impact, bear the brunt of the damage done to the planet's atmosphere, land, and oceans.
The Fifth Directive continues. In the religious, spiritual, and cultural traditions of humankind, we find the directive, you shall not be greedy. Or in positive terms, remember the good of all. Let us reflect anew on the consequences of this directive. We should help provide, to the best of our ability, for the needs and well-being of others, including of today's and tomorrow's children. The earth, with its finite resources, is shared by our one human family. It sustains us in many forms of life and calls for our respect and care. Many religious, spiritual, and cultural traditions place us within the interdependent web of life. At the same time, they accord us a distinctive role and affirm that our gifts of knowledge and of craft place upon us the obligation to use these gifts wisely to foster the common good.
All of us have the responsibility to minimize as much as we can on our impacts on the earth, to refrain from treating living beings and the environment as mere things for personal use and enjoyment, and to consider the effects of our actions on future generations. Caring and prudent use of resources is based on fairness in consumption and takes into account limits on what ecosystems can bear. Wherever heedless domination by human beings over the earth and other living beings is taught, wherever abuse of the environment is tolerated, and wherever development processes surpasses sustainable limits, we have the duty to speak up, to change our practices, and to moderate our lifestyles.
Hello. Part 4 is addressed to young people. You may notice that I'm no longer physically young, but I'm young of spirit and heart. And as the mother of Karima Afia and Dasal Naji, I will say, young people should be encouraged to appreciate that a good life is not a life of outsized consumption or amassing material possessions. A good life strikes a balance between one's needs, the needs of others, and the health of the planet. Education about the environment and sustainable living should become part of the school curricula in every country of the world.
To be authentically human in the spirit of our religious, spiritual, and cultural traditions means the following. Our relationship with each other and with the larger living world should be based on respect, care, and gratitude. All traditions teach that the earth is a source of wonder and wisdom. Its vitality, diversity, and beauty are held in trust for everyone, including those who will come after us. The global environmental crisis is urgent and it is deepening. The planet and its countless forms of life are in danger. Time is running out. We must act with love and compassion, and for justice and fairness, for the flourishing of the whole Earth community.